And now all the boys are out there, 27 of them, with a couple of wild cards this weekend joining the regular field of 25. We go again and set up for qualifying. New day, new feel in the car, lots of things learned yesterday, people tweaking vehicles overnight, looking at data, studying personal performances and trying to find those tiniest of margins. And we back it up with another qualifying session after a brief break off the back of this as well. And then that sets the grid for our two races today. Event 6 Repco Supercars Championship, the Merlin Triple Crown in Darwin. And if you're only just waking up around Australia and you missed all the news yesterday, Anton De Pasquale for the Shell V-Power Racing team was able to score a very important victory and strike back against Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes, nice job to get things started for Cam Waters. Off the road is Zach Best, and you can see the amount of dew on the grass, so it's very slippery.
There's still a human element in switching out of a race car mode yesterday and the balance that you require for that to go the long journey versus what you have to do in qualifying for one lap. And remember that every one of these 27 drivers yesterday has just done 38 laps in a particular groove.
So is Shane Van Gisbergen. This is going to be very tight. Cam Waters, so a 5.5 for Heimgartner. He goes to the top. Cam Waters is on a great lap. Shane Van Gisbergen, a 5.4, beats them all.
30 seconds.
Anton De Pasquale gets up to a 5.4. Will Davison again, a 1 minute 5.3, and Cam Waters, a very rapid response with a 5.2 for the provisional pole. Waters strikes back when it matters most. David Reynolds is on a very quick time as well. So we're coming up to the 10-second mark. Here comes Winterbottom. Jack Smith has just jumped into the top 10. Bryce Fullwood once more now up into 7th place. Winterbottom eclipses him to 7th. But Feeney's going to get Mark, and his first sector split is better than anybody in the field so far. They're all chasing Cam Waters, who didn't have a great day yesterday.
Mostert up 17 spots to 8th. Scott Pye up 14 spots to 12th. Reynolds, this is going to be a strong lap. He goes to 2nd to make it a Mustang lockout on the front row. So Cam Waters from Reynolds, from Davison, from Van Gisbergen. He's the first Holden.
Here comes Brock Feeney. He lost a bit of time in the mid-sector. He won't challenge the boys at the very top. But that first sector split of his was very impressive. I think that is it. Gary Jacobson in the subway entry for Peter Gibberis off the road down there. So Cam Waters gets it done. Well done.
Great job.
Excellent performance to make it his 4th Armour All pole.
There with a 5.3,
22.
Yeah, you'll still pay 1 there, mate. Nice work.
That was a very nice lap. Far slower than I expected. I honestly thought they would do a 4.6 or a 4.7. I was on for a new qualifying record, but they're nowhere near it. So whatever the conditions are this morning, the tyre does not engage as well as we thought it was going to, and those conditions are slower than yesterday by about half a second.
Moral of that story is don't trust Mark or Neil, brackets. Because we were busy selling the Harbour Bridge on that one. I thought we were going to see some 4s. All right, a 1 minute 5.2 gets the job done for Cam Waters over David Reynolds. 4/100ths of a second is the crazy tiny margin. So that's encouraging for both those guys who didn't have the best of days, particularly Reynolds yesterday. Then it's Davison, Van Gisbergen, De Pasquale, Heimgartner, Feeney, LeBrock.
Given that this is the fishing capital of the country, he definitely had that car in front as bait. There was no doubt. So wherever that front car went, which was Will Davison, he was going with him. And sometimes that little bit like that might be half a tenth or a tenth of a second, but that is a big margin around here. What will the time be now? Larko, what do you reckon?
Hey, really quickly, Scapey, before we see these guys fly, I've never seen it before. They pushed Will Davo out here, so if you see bits flying off the back of his car, look at this Armco. They backed it out, it went all the way over the Armco. The back bar caught on here, and as he drove away, give it a nice old rip. Bit of poor behaviour there.
That's no good. That's not the way to start your best run in qualifying, and all those little things like that, they actually upset you.
Yeah.
Like you go and you end up grumpy with the blokes pushing you back. You're grumpy with yourself that you didn't know how far you were relative to where the guardrail was, and you feel like a bit of a goon, don't you?
As a professional, it's supposed to be peak of your powers, and you don't want any rear bumper or diffuser damage on the car. So it's actually got a fair giddy up when it's gone back into the wall there. And Ben Croak will be grimacing when he sees that. I think it's okay. I didn't see any bits.
Look at Ben's face. Did you see Ben's face? He's looking to go, oh, stop it.
Yeah, what are you blokes doing?
Fastest first sector, Van Gisbergen, tick.
see whether he gets it stopped up here. There's a lot of shade up there on the approach into the hairpin left-hander as well.
Maybe those exit, you know, we spoke at the start about the dew.
Yep.
Maybe there's residual water and moisture on those exit curbs because they can't use all the curb coming out of turn 6. So yesterday they were running all the way around the outside, and they're definitely not doing it in that middle sector.
Will Davison's gone faster in Sector 1, Mark. Brock Feeney's gone quick in Sector 2. Now, De Pasquale's actually eclipsed that in Sector 2. So I'm not sure that Shane's going to have quite enough here. He goes to the top on a 5-2. It was a good-looking lap, but there's a couple of threats from behind at the moment, including his teammate. Brock Feeney's done a 5 flat to put 0.17 on his teammate, Van Gisbergen. Anton De Pasquale does a 5 flat, a 1 minute 5.01, and then Will Davis gets her into the 4s, a 1 minute 4.8.
Fastest lap ever. Fastest lap ever. Will Davison, a 4.81.
Inside 2 minutes in this session, Will Davison's laid down a marker that's going to be very tough to beat, a 1 minute 4.8. There's the shot in the background of Mark Winterbottom. A long way round the corner and meeting the wall on the right front. Hopefully not too much damage done there. Where does he drop in? Yeah, position 8. Early in the lap, it would have been probably in the top half dozen cars, but that last little mistake out of the final corner just burned him. And that was Richard Davison with Will Davison in the background there. He's on the provisional pole. We're 10 seconds away from the checkered flag as Lee Holdsworth's about to arrive.
And you know what I'm going to do now in terms of qualifying? I'm going to predict that everybody should back into the guardrail.
As an arrow tweak.
It didn't affect him one bit.
I'm not sure that that is the solution to pace around here, but why not? Sometimes it's worth trying anything and everything in this business. So a 1 minute 4.8 for Will Davison. And fantastic weekend for him on the podium yesterday as the runner-up. Got a beautiful pole position and has celebrated yesterday his 500th supercar race. And how's the margin, Mark? And we haven't actually made a lot of noise about that so far, but he's done it by nearly 0.2 of a second, and that's hefty. And a big shout out for Brock Feeney. That's a great recovery. Qualified 15th yesterday and finished in 9th position, and then has slowly slipped up the road. Any time that you're in front of your teammate of that calibre, by comparison to Shane Van Gisbergen, then that, particularly in the early days of his career, is a handsome performance. Lee Holdsworth just continues to close out this lap. So Davison gets the job done one more time, and that puts him in the prime position now. Anton De Pasquale up on the outside of him. And Holdsworth finishes in position number 15. David Reynolds, his teammate, in position number 12. And that's the view across the bonnet of Mark Winterbottom's car. Unusual place for him to be so far around that corner. We'll get to the bottom of that a little bit later. Here's the way it played out for that second and final qualifying session. The next time that you see the cars, they will be racing. We've got 2 sprint races coming up today. Davison De Pasquale, 0.2 of a second the margin from Feeney and Waters. That's an enthralling row 2. Then we've got Shane Van Gisbergen, fresh from Le Mans. He's on row 3 with Chaz Mostert, with a question mark around the disqualification yesterday and the subsequent appeal. Pye, Brown, Kostecki, Heimgartner, they round out our 10. Then we've got Winterbottom, Reynolds, LeBrock, Randall, Holdsworth, Percat in 16th from Slade, Hazelwood, Courtney and Fullwood. Further afield, we've got Pither, who's got a blocked air filter this weekend. Doesn't sound too good. Followed by Jones, Ojeda, Kostecki, Smith and Jacobson. Overall pole position winner again is Will Davison. Boy, he's been supreme in this area. It makes it number 6 for 2022. He's got his 1 lap back perfectly together, and he's got the primary opportunity now to get on with the job when he launches off the left-hand side of the road down into turn 1. Hopefully he's going to be able to convert